Coach, Victor has a goal and an assist today, and pretty dynamic play down the wings. You obviously have been big on singing his praises this year, but what's it like now that he's contributing on the stat sheet to get him kind of back in the action as you're looking down the end of the season?
Well, it's always nice when players can look at the stat sheet and see their name on it. For us coaches, it's maybe perhaps not as important. Maybe for you journalists, maybe it rings something a little different that he's playing better. I think what you see is just a quality player. And he brings a lot of things outside of, just the goal and the assist. But what we have strived for is, figuring out how to be goal dangerous from those wide positions. So, we can't rely just on Rui Diaz. We can't rely on Will as a number 9. Nico, is he a true goal scoring number 10? Nico's actually got 8 goals, so he's actually doing well. But can Christian and Victor be goal dangerous? That's always key. So in that sense, it was good to see.
Jeremiah?
I'm guessing this performance felt good, not just to get back in the win column, but to put up a few goals and put the last couple games behind you.
Yeah, and I'll be keen on seeing the SHA ratings, seeing if somebody's in a better mood. Somebody was in a bad place, so hopefully they're in a better place. The way this game turned out, though, was perhaps not as easy as the scoreline suggested, because Anthony certainly, he's learning the league and everything, but he had his guys pressing up the field, and his guys didn't quit. So that's always the measuring stick for me as far as whether the coach has still got his group together. There were some nervy moments. Could we have scored a second goal in the first half? Did we have a couple chances to do that? Yes. But at the end of the day, I think our quality showed through. You guys mentioned Victor, but Rui Diaz's quality, Nico, Christian. It was a good performance to get us back up on the horse.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, there's been some wins you guys have had this year where you got up early on teams that were struggling a bit, and you maybe thought they took their foot off the gas a little bit, but it seemed like there was a lot of second effort on some plays today, especially by Ladero on 2 of the goals.
Yeah.
How would you assess, the way they were able to follow through?
Again, halftime talk wasn't all rosy. There was some determined remarks to make sure that they were going. I'm giving my assistants a little bit more leeway to make sure that they talk to their individual players, to make sure that we keep the fires stoked a little bit. It's always at this time of the year they kind of sometimes tune out of the head coach, so we got to get different voice in there, and I think that helped. I think Gonzo, Jimmy, Preki going around to individual guys, I think that's always key. So we want to make sure that when the game is there to be won, that we win them, that we don't become complacent. I think during the 9-game winning streak, which we're all very proud of, I think we were, maybe it was just my voice, it was just me, and I think having some other guys talk to guys on an individual basis paid off for us tonight.
Moz?
Brian, what kind of play did you get, and how effective was it from the left and right backs in terms of Liam and Nuhu coming up and helping with the effectiveness of the midfield?
Well, it's a little, the left side's a little different than the right side. It's a great question, Maz, because look, Nuhu's great at certain things, and he needs to be, better in other areas of the field. And so we wanted Victor to stay a little bit wider because he's a little bit more, attack-minded. He can get the ball and really drive at people. And that's not to say that Nuhu can't attack or he shouldn't be involved in the attack, but it's a little bit different than, Christian and Kelvin have got a pretty good relationship going. When Kelvin goes, Christian can drop. When Christian goes, Kelvin, their movement, they're in sync a little bit better. So I like that side to be a little bit more fluid. Who comes inside, who stays outside. Those guys are more interchangeable. And on the left side, we want Victor to have his foot on the ball as often as possible. Nuhu be there supporting him and as needed going forward in attack.
Mickey.
There was a VAR call or a review at one point. How concerned were you that Ozzie may potentially be sent off at that point?
Well, I was very concerned in the sense that I didn't see it. I mean, I couldn't see it from my angle. I have yet to watch the replay, but when I watch the replay, I can give you a better take on it. You know, there was the play up in Vancouver as well that Ozzie was involved in. So VAR is, obviously there for a reason. The referees, in real time need to feel the game, because the similarities between the two plays was that the Vancouver player had kind of lost control of the ball and was kind of dribbling away, and Ozzie came and stuck his leg in there. And then I thought that the Colorado player was kind of sandwiched in between 2 and 3 of our guys, and was kind of unbalanced a little bit, and Ozzie came in there late. So I'll have to watch it. But again, a guy in a booth, that's one of the things that VAR has to kind of, figure out how they want to do. In super slow-mo, everything might look like a red card. And so what they have to do is the ref on the field has to feel the game. He has to kind of take the tenor of the game and make those important and challenging decisions. I mean, they're not easy.
John?
Coach, we've gotten to see Raul gets another brace today. Nico assists on both of those goals. That partnership seemed to really develop well lately. What have you noticed between that relationship development and how it's affected the team?
I think you could say the relationship between Raul and Nico, Raul and Victor, Raul and Ozzie, Raul and Christian. I mean, Raul is just kind of, we have to remember 11 starts. And there's been a lot of history in MLS about mid-season signings not really catching on. So I think we've done a good job. I think the front office has done a really good job of getting us a player who does actually fit in. So I think in that sense, it is Nico and Rui Diaz because they're in that central role as a number 9, as a number 10. But I think it manifests itself throughout the team as well.
Matt?
It's a side note, but Bawana comes in for the first time since May 26th. What, not only your feelings about his recovery, but you having that option?
Yeah, it's been great. So Henry Wingo has had a little bit of a concussion that he got at an S2 game. Handwall has had his fair share of injury issues, but we want to use games like this to get some of those younger guys minutes. I think it's important for the franchise to take some of those younger homegrown players and get them minutes. And it's also because, look, that Wednesday night fixture in Orlando, we're going to need some of those kids to produce when we're missing a bunch of guys for the international duty. So try to get him on the field. And, it was the same sub for DeLam, get him on the field a little bit. He's actually going to be gone, but, getting Ozzie off the field for his yellow, getting Handwalla on the field to get a little taste. I mean, that was some of the reasons or some of the discussions we were having on the bench for the subs.
Ryan?
Coach, from a stats perspective, it was one of Nico's best games of the year. Could you feel his presence out there and how he was impacting the game?
Yeah, I felt the whole team. I mean, the whole team. I thought there was a good team performance today. I mean, Steph really didn't have much to do, but everybody on that field contributed, and certainly Nico is a big part of our team. But I hate to label it as, okay, this guy's really, really great, because I felt everybody had pretty strong performances.
Ari?
Going off that, Christian Roldan's up to, I think, 7 assists this year. Maybe not a guy who's known for gaudy numbers on the stat sheet, but have you seen a step in his game this year that's allowed him to contribute more?
Christian has been developing ever since he got here, ever since we drafted him out of the UW. I still remember that story, Garth having to run or chase him around the room to make that deal happen. And he has been a contributor since he's been here. I think since his insertion into the starting lineup, he's shown that he's a versatile player, which I'm not totally sold on, because I think I know where he should be, but he certainly has the ability to make an impact in every single game, whether I play him right wing, right back, in the middle of the field as one of the two. I mean, he's got a lot of versatility, and his best attribute is just the kid wants to win. He hates losing, and he will do whatever it takes to help the team win.
A few follow-ups, Jeremiah. I think I saw you had one.
Chad Marshall looked like he got kicked in the leg. What was the injury there, and any concern?
He got kicked in the shin. He's a tough kid.
John, you got one?
Yeah, Coach, from the opening whistle, it seemed like there was a real impetus to attack Colorado, not sitting back, but really taking the game to them. Was that something you'd seen in preparation for this match, or something that you just felt the team needed to do to be more successful?
Yeah, it was a home game. It was a game that we needed to win. So we messaged them all week about having a comeback performance from the last two. And again, I give all credit to those guys in the locker room. That's a pretty experienced group of players. We had a couple of bad results, but that team in there knows how to win.